On this episode of AVWeek, BlueJeans lays off 40% of their workforce, serving the marijuana market with AV. Facial recognition in the workplace. All that and more. Next on AVWeek.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is AV Week, episode 434, recorded Friday, December 13th, 2019. AV Puns.
Support for AVNation is brought to you by Kramer, AV Beyond the Box, and by Atlas IED, innovative audio solutions for every business environment, and by Christie Digital.
This is AV Week, your weekly wrap-up of audiovisual news and information. My name is Tim Albright. I am your host. With us to discuss the news and information we have gathered this week. First and foremost, his name is Luke Jordan. He is from Electroacoustics from Fort Worth, Texas. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me back, Tim.
And I will mention, Matt Scott, our buddy Matt Scott, is a Cowboys fan, so I had to apologize to him for what the Bears did to the Cowboys, and since you're in the general vicinity, I guess I'll apologize to you.
The Bears had nothing to do with that. The Cowboys did it to themselves. Y'all are still a mediocre team, just like us.
All right, so we're the better mediocre team, is that the deal? So,
y'all made less mistakes.
At least on that Thursday night, so all right. Also with us is Mr. Kevin Barlow from Draper. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me back, Tim.
Absolutely. And speaking of box, see what I did there? Extron. Welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me back as well.
Oh, wow. That's just crazy. If you want more puns, Chris has a video program on extron.com called
Out of the Box.
Out of the Box. Where he
Not sure that's how it was actually formed, but
That's totally how it formed. That's totally how you guys thought of that. Before we get started here, I want to encourage you guys to go by our website and register for and sign up for our newsletter. I am no longer doing it, so I'm happy about that. But a great young lady who is doing it. Her name's Lenora Lane. Lenora's been in the AV industry and written for the AV industry for years, and she has taken that over and doing a fantastic job. So you can buy the website, avnation.tv, and do that. First story, top story of today from UC Today. UC Today broke the news that BlueJeans is laying off 40% of their employees. That is 200 of their 500-person workforce. The move appears to impact mostly sales and marketing roles, though there are some C-level folks that are losing their jobs as well. BlueJeans has been around for about 10 years and was one of the first platforms to work with Cisco, Link, Microsoft Link, Lifesize, Polycom, and others. Mr. Jordan, we'll start with you on this. What does this move mean to you as a potential customer of BlueJeans or other integrators, but also to those integrators' dealers?
It's just sad. We're a small business. We have 30 employees. We have not laid anyone off in 35 years since we opened our doors. And I think part of that is having a conservative view of growth and strategic goals. And that's just really part of our DNA that's important to us. So, I've used BlueJeans, I've integrated BlueJeans, good product, good support. I've honestly only had positive experiences with it. But that being said, as I'm looking at who my vendors are, who my partners are, who do I want to be conducting business with, I want people that I think resonate with my values, that I feel like we're on the same wavelength. And so another company laid off several hundred employees last year, and BlueJeans now, and you really do think about what is their value, or why did they do that? Who are they beholden to? The article talks a lot about their path to profitability, and this is kind of common with startups having more pressure to get profitable faster. And so this is the ownership, maybe investment group that's controlling that, maybe more so than the actual operators. But it does give me a lot of pause about, are they a good fit for us? Is there another company that I need to be looking at more seriously now as a result of this? So again, nothing to say bad about the product or the people, but it does really make me think, are they the right fit for our type of small business?
I will point out that the article lists the fact that it's worth or valued at $700 million, a little bit over 700 million, with revenues of about 100 million. So the question is that in jeopardy now? And with these moves, Chris, we'll continue with this. You on this. BlueJeans, I mentioned the fact was one of the first companies to collaborate and connect these disparate video conferencing systems together. It was again 10 years ago. 2009 was when they came out. I was still a tech manager then, and it was fascinating because at that time, if you guys remember, you couldn't make a call, or you could make a call between a Cisco or a Tandberg and a Polycom system, right?
Right.
Or you could, but it was difficult, right? You had to go through some hoops. BlueJeans made that easy, right? But BlueJeans was kind of the bridge between, not to use a pun there, but a bridge between the two systems. Now, those companies are deciding who they're going to natively work with, right? You look at Zoom and the number of partnerships that they have, including Microsoft and Google. You look at the partnerships that Google is making. Does this mean that the collaboration between these companies is dead, or is it the collaboration platform that's just not where, this is not the place to be right now, is being that bridge?
Well, the impression I got from reading the article is that the future is converged, meaning everybody expects to be able to talk to everybody easily, having a button, whether that's single sign-on like Zoom and Skype use for their platforms, or any other platform. Cross-compatibility and interoperability is key, is the takeaway from the article. So being unique, even if you're better at it, you're going to have some loss, as people expect to just take convenience as the new quality. And it makes me take pause thinking about this article, being happy that Extron is a private company, not beholden to shareholders and everything that goes with that, all the baggage that goes with that. To Luke's earlier comment, the right decision isn't always the made decision just for the sake of the almighty dollar. And the timing of it is always perfect too, right? 2 weeks before Christmas, and this is happening. Just got through Thanksgiving. So Merry Christmas to those guys. So
having fired someone before Christmas before, I will say it is a little bit of a mercy kill from one perspective. Would you rather go into Christmas, and it's a little close to the deadline, but would you rather go into Christmas knowing that you need to look for a job and need to tighten up your finances, or would you rather spend all your money on Christmas and parties and events, get into January, and then find out that you don't have a job, and by the way, you're in debt from Christmas?
Right after you put in the Clark Griswold Christmas pool,
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You were counting on that bonus. You got the fruitcake of the month club.
But that's a tough decision no matter what.
You bet.
Yeah, that is a hard decision, and I can honestly see both scenarios, which I would be perfectly fine with. Kevin, what does this mean for BlueJeans going forward? You just mentioned the fact that folks expect these systems and expect this convergence to happen, and this is a platform that was built on creating that and delivering that convenience. So what does this mean for BlueJeans?
Well, there's two sides to the story, and Luke and Chris covered them well. One side is the human element, people losing their jobs, and the other side is keeping up with technology and the fact that what was once a little bit of magic with the average end user is now an expectation. So, the fail here, the big fail is BlueJeans and other companies, some places where I've worked before, not being able to change ahead of the curve, or not being able to see the curve in the road and preparing before they get there. And so, that's the painful part of the story here is, the market's changed, the customer expectations have changed, and, it's cost 200 plus people their jobs, which is, very, regardless of what time of the year it is, that's a difficult thing. Difficult on both sides. I don't think the people that made those decisions did it lightly. I can't imagine that they did. And, for the recipients, of course, I can say, having worked for, companies in this industry that have been in that place before, it's never fun firing somebody. It's never fun getting laid off. And it's rare when you find a company that values its people above the profit, which is the headline of the story. Thankfully, I work at one of those places right now, a company 117 years old that has never had a single layoff. And it's because they value the people, the community, and the loyalty above the profitability. And the thing that I share with my partners and customers, the reason why that's important is because that translates through all of our business relationships. So that would make me pause if I was in the market for BlueJeans, just as the other two guys said, and question, if that's how they treat their people, how are they going to treat their customers?
Yeah. Real quickly, before we get beyond this story here, just a general question, and this is more rhetorical, but you guys feel free to jump in here. The last 2 years, really, but the last three holiday seasons, the AV industry has let go and lost 1,000 jobs collectively, cumulatively. 2 years ago, it was Harman who let go around 400 to 500 people. One of those people was one of our board members at AVNation, Bradford Ben. Last year, Barco let go 400 to 500 people. And this year, we got BlueJeans. Is it something, I don't want to say is there something in the water, but is there something in the water around this time of year where companies are going, okay, you know what, here's the best time for us to do this. We've got to do it anyway for fiscal reasons, for whatever reasons. And not for nothing, but all three of those companies are publicly traded in some way, shape, or form. Harman is ultimately owned by Samsung, who is also publicly traded. But just wondering if there's something in towards the end of the year where they go, you know what, we've got to cut something, right? To show a profitability. I think maybe back to Luke's point about being driven by stockholders or being driven by investors, as opposed to both Chris and Kevin, who work for family-owned, privately held companies.
Fortune 500 companies have provided a net loss of jobs over the last few decades.
Wow.
They have laid off more people than they've hired net.
I think it's probably less about, just profitability. It's the easy way to look at it. It's more about budgets. This is the time of year, October, November. We just finished that season where management is crunching the numbers for the next fiscal year. So unless they're Japanese and they're, starting April 1st, most companies are kicking it off January 1st. Yeah. And so by the end of November, they know how much money they've got to spend, including salaries. And so if the hit comes between Thanksgiving and Christmas, that probably has a lot to do with it.
Absolutely. If you are one of those people, our website has a job board, commercial integrator. I think every publication that I'm aware of has some sort of job board. You've also got folks like the guys over at AV Junction, which is where we get ours from. Check those out, or you can send me an email and tell me what you're looking for. Tim@avnation.tv, and we'll hook you up. So. Thank you so much for watching the first segment of this week's AV Week. To check out the rest of the episode, where we talk about facial recognition as well as AV in the marijuana market. Check out the link below or go by the website, avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv.